Hello, friends. Welcome to Soul Shift Coaching. I'm David Hale. Thank you for being here. We are transforming our lives one day at a time, 1 degree at a time here at Soul Shift Coaching by applying discipline. Yes, friends, I said it, discipline. Just a little bit more, a little bit better, a little bit more refined each and every day so that we can reap that radical harvest of transformation that is always on the other side of discipline. That is what we want here. Discipline breeds, what I've come to find out is that discipline breeds joy. It just creates freedom. It creates power, not rigidness, not white knuckling it, but thoughtful discipline, mature discipline, and applying discipline through all aspects of our lives. Just the right seasoning, just the right amount of sprinkling of salt to season it, right? Where we don't want to be too rigid and turn people off. We don't want to white knuckle our discipline. We don't want to be too over the top and too distant and too automatic or robotic in our discipline. No, because real discipline, true discipline, mature discipline actually frees us. There's a liberation to discipline because you know what? You know you're keeping your side of the street clean. You know you can lay your head on your pillow at night and fall asleep in 5 minutes because you know what? You put forth the effort. You kept your side of the street clean. Where you needed to make amends or right or wrong, you did it. And if you couldn't do it that day, you've got plans to do it in the near future. And so what discipline allows us to do, the right amount of discipline allows us to do, is actually just walk in freedom. And once we understand the awesome responsibility that comes with freedom, that, my friends, is the pathway that we walk to transformation. Could you imagine if you lived a disciplined life in total freedom every day, where you would be in 1, 2, 5, 10, 15 years? See, we are constantly creating our future self every single day. We are investing in our future self. We are creating our future self. We are literally recreating ourselves every day. And what I have found, and it's just not me, I've seen it in other people's lives, my own life, and heard other people talk about it, is that if you want a transformed life, you will incorporate a certain amount of discipline. And that discipline needs to be encompassed, if you will, in freedom. And then once you start living this life of discipline and freedom, guess what comes? Peace. That's right, my friends. We are mind, body, and spirit, and we are at true peace when our mind and our body and our spirit are aligned, pulling in one direction. That's peace, my friends. It doesn't matter what's going on around us. The job can be tough. The marriage can be tough. The dating can be tough. You can be in a lonely season physically, meaning you don't have much community around you. But at the end of the day, if your mind and body and soul are pulling in one direction and all singing the same song, my friends, the contentment, the unity that comes from that just breeds peace. And so then actually what we find ourselves living in is peace and freedom and discipline, reaping that radical harvest of transformation that's always on the other side. We've got to put in the time and the effort, T-I-M-E, time, things I must earn. And my friends, we earn discipline, right? We put in time and intentionality and effort into discipline because it's day after day after day, and finding that joy and finding that power each and every day, knowing, taking solace in the fact that we are creating that person we always wanted to be. Yes, we might have accomplished many things. Yes, we might have a resume, or we might have some titles, or we might have a couple dollars in the bank, or what have you. We might have accumulated some things in this thing called life. But come on, man, don't kid yourself. You know, I know you, you know me. What is real joy? What is real contentment? What is real peace? It's not checking all of those boxes in life per se. Yes, we can have fun while attaining them, but then once you get there, guess what you do? Is this all there is? Is this all there is? For a year, I put in time, well, maybe it was more like 6 months, in training for an Ironman triathlon. And guess what? Once I finished that Ironman, yeah, it was great. And then after 2 or 3 days, after my body loosened back up and the soreness went away, what's next? And see that, my friend, that's where finding the joy of the discipline of the daily life, knowing that you're constantly recreating yourself, that's our drive. And so what I want to speak to briefly today is about what are the things we must do to ensure that we are bringing discipline into our lives, so we're understanding freedom and gaining peace Stop the noise. My dear friends, stop the noise. We live in such a manufactured world, do we not? With the technology, with the internet, with the cars, the fact that I can have a flipping pen, one pen delivered to my doorstep by Amazon. I can have one cupcake. We have cupcakes, all over this town here in sunny San Diego. I can have one cupcake delivered to my door. In some states, you can have some extracurricular activities delivered to your door, right? For those areas where that stuff is legal. So it is the level of assistance we have in our life is has never been seen before. It is simply remarkable. I mean, you got to understand, it wasn't too long ago where just having running water was a big deal. I just got back from a trip over in Europe and seeing the age of the city that we were visiting, and you just go to these castles and you're just like, man, it wasn't too long ago that my great grandparents were coming across a covered wagon and pitching a tent and flipping Nebraska and being poor dirt farmers in Oklahoma. It just wasn't that long ago, and yet we, like C.S. Lewis calls, with this chronological snobbery, we think we are the first people to ever, have these thoughts. There are no new thoughts. There are no new thoughts. And so even though we live in this, we just live in a manufactured world, do we not? Where everything is available anytime we want. And it's just, it's tiresome. And so what we're actually having to do is be intentional about carving ourselves out of the world. Isn't that odd? That with all this stuff that we can have or do or see, one of the biggest disciplines we need to instill in our lives is actually removing ourselves from the technology, removing ourselves from the assisted living, removing ourselves from all of the trappings of the absolute silly wealth we have in this country. Silly wealth, right? And I'm not talking about 50 million in the bank. No, I'm talking about making, 50, 60, 80 grand a year, right? I mean, compared to the world, that's silly wealth. Having running water that you can drink. Right? It's our public transportation system, our roads, all of it. Microwaves, cell phones. I mean, who doesn't have a cell phone? It's silly wealth. And so what we actually have to do is remove ourselves from this decadence, remove ourselves from this just silliness amount of ease with which this world presents itself. Everything. Now, granted, I'm setting aside right now the emotional and mental and spiritual path that we're on. I'm just talking about the existence of living. For the vast majority of us, it is very, very easy to live. And yet, here we are, a lot of us staring at our navel going, what's this all about? Why can't I find meaning? Why can't I find joy? Well, my friends, it's because you haven't removed yourself from this overly manufactured world. Perfect example. When you were going, they have play dates today. Hey, can Johnny come over for a play date? Man, all I did, I would walk out the gosh dang front door and just start seeing who was outside. Hey, come back when the street lights come on, right? That's what it was. I used to leave and go to the little public pool at 9 o'clock in the morning and come back at like 5 o'clock at night. My parents never came and checked up on me. I was just gone. Now we have play dates and, we've got this over manufactured aspect to life. It's exhausting. It's exhausting. And this is coming from someone who stares at a computer all day as part of his work. It's exhausting. So what I want to talk about is removing ourselves from the noise. Stop the energy, stop the chaos, and it doesn't have to be chaos, but just stop the noise of the day-to-day rhythms of life. That is the first thing that's really the first discipline we have to incorporate into our lives each and every day. We have to be very intentional about removing ourselves from the busyness, the overconnectedness, the over-manufacturedness, the technologicalness of our lives. We must remove ourselves from it to just get centered and remind ourselves how incredibly fortunate we really are. Stop the noise. Put yourselves into an environment, into a position where it's just you and nothing else. Many of us need to do that in the morning time with a quiet time. Starting our day off with an unplugging, right? We come out of that rest where we sleep. And before we go to anything else, what we should do is have a cup of water, visit the bathroom, what needs you, and then sit down and start our day with a connectedness to the actual beauty of the world, connectedness to the beauty that is within us, connectedness to the beauty that we are creating each and every day. We just start our day off with a pause, hopefully 15, 20, 30 minutes of a pause. And then what we do as the day goes on and we get bombarded with all of the busyness of life, then what we also need to do in the afternoon or wherever it is, over lunch, what may have you, do something physical. Whatever that is for you. If it is literally walking around the block, that's fine. If it is 5 or 10 minutes of stretching, that's fine. No music, no audio book, no. Walk around the block, stretch, lifting weights, going on a run, bike ride, swimming, whatever it is. Once again, get by yourself for a period of time to do something physical where you are connecting with your body. We live in a physical world, and don't kid yourself, we are what we eat. We are what we consume. And I'm going to tell you, we can consume stuff with our eyes just as readily as we can consume something with our body. We are what we eat. We are what we consume. And we consume with our eyes and our ears and our taste and our body. Be careful what you consume with your eyes. And that is why we should have these 2 periods each day where we remove ourselves from the world, where we are within ourselves, mind, body, and spirit, connecting ourselves to the eternal, connecting ourselves to that part that is beauty, that is the driving force behind creating our future self. It is who we want to be, spending that time alone. Not only with the quiet time, but also something physical so that we can remind ourselves that we are not meant to be sitting down at a computer, locked inside, in our cars or what have you. No, it is a big, beautiful world. And we must disengage from the busyness of life to stay connected to what really matters, to what really provides contentment, to what really provides joy, which is the alignment of the mind, body, and soul. And too often we get stuck with just filling our mind and our body, and we forget about our soul. And we need to nourish our soul in that time alone in the morning with the quiet time and physically working out. What it allows us to do is bring mind, body, and soul into unison so they're all pulling in the same direction, reminding and feeding off of each other that true peace is found in that contentment and alignment and unity of mind, body, and soul. Therefore, we must feed our mind, body, and soul. And I'm going to tell you, those 2 periods, quiet time and physical activity, are instrumental, critical, foundational bricks to true joy and true peace, right? Because it's part of that discipline. And that discipline breeds freedom. And it's the freedom to live how we ought to live. And it's that freedom to live how we ought to live that is creating our future self each and every day. So what I want to tell you, friends, is unplug. Get out of the noise. Stop the busyness of life just at least once, hopefully twice a day, so we can all start walking this path of just a little bit more discipline, a little bit better discipline, a little bit refined discipline, so we can lay our head on our pillow at night and fall asleep in 5 minutes knowing that we put forth that honest effort each and every day. And we can take joy in the fact that we are creating ourselves to be who we want to be, which should be the goal of everyone, to be frank, because there's no retiring from this thing called life. All right, my friends, that's it for today. Thank you for listening. If you've enjoyed this content, please give me a thumbs up. Leave a comment. I'd love to hear from you. And please also subscribe to the YouTube channel. And you can also read in the description box below, also in the YouTube channel, where to find me, like at soulshift.org, which is my coaching site. You can go there and learn more about me, my approach, and my style. Understand that we all need assistance. Understand that we all need guidance. Understand that we all need to be mentored in one form or fashion. No man, no woman, no person is a rock and an island unto themselves. We all need to be mentored. We all need to be disciplined. Iron sharpens iron, like they say. And so we all need that guidance through life. And that's what I'd like to be for you. So go check me out at soulshift.org. You can also navigate to the book coaching link, and there you can also book a free consultation. And you and I can connect, and we can talk about who you are, where you are, how you got there, who you want to be, and how you want to get there. Because we all, friends, want to live that radically transformed life, knowing discipline, understanding peace, and living in freedom while we create our future self one day at a time, 1 degree at a time. Thank you for listening, friends. Thank you for being here.